Welcome to the porch behind my studio. I'm Erin Reinholtz, and in today's video I have a new painting I'm going to show you from start to finish. You might hear the birds and the wind a little bit, but it's such a beautiful day. I have been waiting for weather like this, and so I thought, why not work outside today? Also, there's a train track that runs through the back of my property, and so you might hear the freight train if you're lucky. The canvas that I'm working on today is one that I bought from a Michael's art store. And just so you know, Michael's is not sponsoring this video, although that would be great if they would. But I like their level 3 artist canvases because I find that the canvas on the actual stretcher bars is pretty durable, and I like the thickness of the sides. They look really good hung on the wall even without frames. So I often choose those canvases for paintings. And so the first thing that I do is bring it over to an open space in my studio, and I unwrap it from the plastic, and I'm getting ready to tone the canvas. After I open the painting, I'm taking a pencil and just writing the size of the canvas on the back on the stretcher bars. This is something new that I've been trying to be really good about doing, and it's just to help me because I often forget what size the canvases are later, and when people ask me about them or when they become available for sale, I always indicate what size the painting is, and it's much easier for me if I have this information on the back. When I finish the painting, I also sign and date the back, and I write the name of the painting on the back as well. Now that the canvas is ready to get started, I'm shaking a bottle of fluid acrylic paint. This is my favorite color to tone the canvas, and I'm going to get started toning the whole surface this color. My kids, especially my daughters, like to come in there, and they have a little section with their own easels and their own supplies that they can use and make paintings. And so Reese really likes to go in there, and she likes to color and paint and draw. And I guess she was in there one day right after I had prepared a bunch of canvases for this painting series that I'm working on. And so she thought they were finished, and she was like, "Why do you have so many pink paintings, Mom?" And I was like, that is a great question, Reese, and people ask me that all the time. So I'm gonna answer that for you right now. A lot of artists like to use like a yellow or a warm color like a yellow ochre or a burnt sienna or something like that, but I prefer to use magenta or sometimes a violet magenta. So you see me putting that paint on the whole canvas, and then I use a little sponge to spread it around evenly for 2 reasons. One, it gets rid of the stark, bright white. When I use a darker color and I start my painting, it helps me have a better sense of how bright or dark my colors are compared to when I'm starting on a bright white canvas. And the second reason I like to do this color especially is because there's always a little bit left filters through the brush strokes because of the way that I paint and my style, and I love when those little pinks just peek through. They add some warmth and they unify the whole painting by the time that I'm finished. And I'm going to get the easel ready with the canvas so that it's officially time to start the painting when this layer of acrylic has dried. It's time to get the brushes ready. I'm making sure that all the brushes are clean from the last painting that I did. I have my palette ready to go. I showed how I set up the palette in my last video if you're interested in seeing the colors that I use or how I lay it out. And if you have any questions about the specific colors I use or why I set up my palette the way that I do or what kind of palette I'm using, feel free to ask me in the comments. I'm always happy to share about that. I am so excited to get started on this painting. I'm feeling really, really inspired by the beautiful light and the trees and the colors, and I am coming off of a season of painting snowy winter landscapes, and since the weather has changed here in Michigan to an early spring, I want nothing to do with painting snow. So I cannot wait to get started on this painting. I'm feeling a new like jolt of energy about this painting. Like I'm turning the corner and I am really excited to see how this unfolds. And once I'm happy with the composition of the tree trunks and some of the basic branches, I jump right into the foliage and get started with all of those beautiful colored leaves. Once I get the leaves done, I like to start mixing up some colors for the sky, and I switch my focus to those pockets of blue sky that show in between the leaves and the tree trunks. And then from that point, it's kind of a dance that I do, bouncing back and forth between sky color and foliage. And I do this, I just get in this groove. I was totally in a flow at this point, and I just keep thinking back about the woods, and I'm trying to get that feeling that I had when I was in the woods, like that beautiful feeling and capturing the beautiful light, and I'm just trying to emphasize that on the painting. And while I'm going, I'm also consciously thinking about where certain colors are going. It's not totally obvious probably, especially for people who aren't artists, but I am trying to use the colors to lead the eye around in a dance around this painting. And the composition that I'm thinking about as I do this for this piece is the spiral composition, which is based on the golden ratio, which you might have heard of. And so I am doing that really subtly with the brightest colors that radiate out from the sun. And that is helping me guide which colors go where, in addition to the actual foliage that was in real life. I reach a point where I get far enough along that it's time to pay more attention to the actual tree trunks and branches. So I mix up some colors for the tree trunks, and if you were to look very closely, you'd see that they actually have many colors on them. I like to emphasize where the light hits the tree trunks and which areas are darker and give them some depth and some character, and I like to help enhance that feeling of light by making it radiate onto certain parts of the trees, especially the ones that are closest and getting the most touched by the sunlight. I also go in at this point and add more branches. The branches are also helping lead the eye around the canvas, adding interest to the painting and giving it more life. I'm so happy with the way that the colors and the light are looking in this painting, and I'm really happy with the branches and the trees. And so now I'm just taking some time to make sure that the light has the emphasis that I really want it to have, and that there's nothing that stands out to me that needs attention in the painting. It's looking really good, and I'm so happy with it that I think it's time to let it dry a little bit and then come and sign it. And my least favorite part of painting, I don't know if this sounds stupid or what, but it's actually signing the painting. It is so complicated to brush my signature on the paintings. I've tried so many different brushes. The one that I'm using here seems to be the best one that I found so far for making my signature. When I was younger, I used to just put a lowercase e on my artwork, and I kind of wish that I never stopped doing that. I mean, at the same time, I like when people can see the painting, and if they're looking to see who painted it, they can see that it was me. I have heard from some people that you should always have a recognizable signature on your work, but sometimes I really miss the simplicity of that little lowercase e on the painting. I made it through though. I got the signature. It's looking good, and I'm really happy with how much this painting makes me feel the way that I feel when I am walking around in my woods. So now I just need to paint the edges and let it dry. But real quick, I'm doing a reveal before I paint the edges. Ta-da! I love it so much. I already can't wait to start the next one. So while it's drying, I have gotten started on another one. But when it dried, I decided to clear off the wall of prints that I had framed hanging over my studio sofa and put this painting up there instead. And I am so glad I did, because it is like the perfect spot for it to live in my studio until it finds a new home. So that is how this painting came to existence. Someone told me this once. They were like, you made something that didn't exist before. Like, you started out with nothing and now something exists because you made it. And that made me feel super cool. That was really special to hear. I never really thought about that before, but it's so true. And so now this painting exists and it is available to go out and live in the world. I'm gonna have a hard time probably letting this one go, but I hope that whoever decides to collect this painting feels as much joy from it as I do and as I tried to put into it while I was painting it. Thank you so much for watching the video of how this painting came to life. I hope that just watching the painting process maybe brought you a little extra joy in your day or entertained you. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. I hope you have a great day, and I cannot wait to show you the next painting that I've been working on.